We are not live and not at San Diego Comic-Con, but we are still a Slice of Gaming podcast. I'm your host, Moonlight150, for the week of July 21st, 2023. We got some Call of Duty news at the Back from the Dead, some new Spider-Man trailers and Armored Core 6, Mortal Kombat trailer characters, and more. So, gonna introduce our combatants for this podcast. We got Noob tubing his way to prestige. It's the Uncharted Wolf.
Hey, happy to be here.
Pre-ordering his Borderlands movie tickets. It's Dark.
Hey, how's it going?
And caught in his own spider web thread. It's Bench.
Hey, happy to be back.
So just wanted to say, you can always follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and Audible. And we just want to give a special shout out to our listeners on Apple Podcasts in both the UK and the US, as we just got some interesting and fun data that we are, I think it was like 72 in the UK and the video game podcast
79.
on Apple Podcasts. 79, even better. And it was like 205 in the United States. So thank you for your support on Apple Podcasts, and hopefully we can start getting those kind of numbers on the other ones as well. But I think that is it. Anything else? Oh, I just do also want to give a quick shout out to that we are going to be doing some extra content in the very near future. I won't say what, but there will be more to this channel on YouTube and the other and the podcast services in the near future of not just this podcast of A Slice of Gaming, but some other fun things as well. So be sure to look forward to that. And I see Wolf is writing Fusion's eulogy in the document right now. But we do have to mention that Fusion is unfortunately not here. He caught something or other out there, and so we wish him well. But the podcast must go on. And no, Wolf, he wasn't reduced to Adam. Stop saying that. But we're going to move right on over to Wolf for the news.
I'm just saying you don't know that for sure, okay? He could be gone forever.
Yeah, he hasn't replied to us on Discord yet. I guess it's possible.
It's a God bless you, Fusion. We'll miss you. Yeah, most likely sleep. But yeah, like as Moon said, we got quite a good amount of news topics. Actually, a busier news week than usual after our last 2 weeks. So hopefully we're going to be talking a lot more. Maybe not as much as last week, because like that episode went on longer than we all expected. But
how did
we'll see. I don't know. You know, man. Like we just start talking about something, we're gonna keep talking about it. We just love it. But yeah, no. As Moon alluded to at the beginning, one of our big topics are that Call of Duty servers are back online. This comes from Tom Warren over at The Verge. Thousands of Call of Duty fans are playing classic Xbox 360 titles thanks to a server pick. Activision has fixed matchmaking server issues in some older Call of Duty titles for the Xbox 360. Now, it says Activision in the article, but I've also seen some reports that it's actually Microsoft that fixed them. I'm not fully sure which one is accurate.
It came out that Microsoft fixed them. Last I heard.
Oh, it was Microsoft? Okay. We'll go with Microsoft that did it. Players have been complaining about matchmaking issues in classics like Black Ops and original Modern Warfare 2 over the past few years, as they haven't been able to get into lobbies for multiplayer modes. Now that the servers are back and working, the player count in Call of Duty Black Ops, which might not be totally accurate, stands at more than 100,000. Now, this was about like a few days ago when this came up. I think that number is accurate. When I was playing Black Ops the other day, it was very much at over 100,000, and I think Black Ops 2 was almost at 200,000. So that's just an interesting thing in and of itself. That doesn't mean thousands of Xbox 360 consoles are suddenly being powered on. It's all possible thanks to Microsoft's backwards compatibility support on Xbox, allowing Xbox One and Xbox Series S/X owners to play these classic Call of Duty games. All you have to do is put your old disc in or even install a digital copy of the game, and all your 360 progress from over a decade ago will have preserved, including your Call of Duty Prestige ranks. And I didn't actually put it on the doc, but I also saw that like most of those classic 360 Call of Duty games are some of the best-selling games on the Microsoft Store at the moment. At least like 7 of the top 10 I've seen like that number floating around. So like it kind of shows like this is a big step for like a lot of Call of Duty fans to go back to these classic games. And you know, as a classic Call of Duty fan, I've been loving it. I've been playing a lot of Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 1. Moon, I know you've also been playing these. Like, how do you feel about the news?
I mean, it's a crazy situation because it was not previously announced that they were doing this. They didn't even officially announce it. It kind of just happened, and then the only reason most of us heard about it was just through word of mouth. It's like, oh shit, like all the 360 CODs are now back up and running. Like they fixed the servers to where you can now properly get into matches, and there aren't as many hackers anymore. So yeah, it's kind of nutty, but it also makes you think, like, Xbox or Microsoft, if they are really the ones that are behind this, they could have done this at any time, but I guess they just didn't see it as worth the money and investment, because we don't know like how long this has been in the works or how long it took them to do this and how much money they spent on it. But the fact that they had the ability to, and they just did it because they're like, well, they're Activision games, they're not directly under us, but now that they are going to be and on Game Pass, they're like, yeah, okay, let's get all this shit up and running because we're going to post all these games on Game Pass. So it's just kind of a fascinating thing. Like, we think that old servers are just there to die, but no, they could, I don't know how easily, but they could in fact be revived. So it's kind of just, I don't think we've ever had anything like this, of like servers that are like 15 years old revitalized like this.
We've seen like fan projects to revitalize these types of servers, like stuff like that are very much fan driven, but I don't think we've seen like a situation where the actual company revives the servers, which is just a very pro consumer move. And also you kind of alluded to something that's like, this almost came out of nowhere. I actually wanted to pose a question to the podcast here. Do you guys think this has anything to do with the ABK deal now that it's going through, like most pretty much definitely going to go through? Like, do you think Microsoft were like, okay, why don't we actually get these servers to work as well?
Oh,
This
absolutely.
is 100%
Absolutely.
about.
They wanted
Yeah.
the servers to look good when they dropped them all.
Not
on
only
the
that,
service.
I think there's a possibility they bringing back these servers for the possibility of a Switch port.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
that's
already
a
know.
possibility.
If they drop a Switch, it's gonna blow the fuck up. I'm already telling you
Oh
that.
yeah. Well, I mean,
And I
like
think
these
there's
are
a
classic
reason why
Call
they
of Duty
started.
games.
Yeah,
They're
they're
gonna
old.
run
They're
well.
running.
So
Yeah.
yeah, no, they're classic Call of Duty games. Everyone loves them. Like, you know, Call of Duty games as of reset. We'll talk about it more on what we've been playing, but like playing through like Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops a bunch, it reminded me of how much I fucking hate Call of Duty games nowadays. They are just not the same. And just like playing Black Ops has just been such a roller coaster of fun. I love the maps. I love the guns. I love I played the campaign. Love that. Everything about like just those classic COD games is just so fun to go back to. And did you notice anything when going back to those old games, at least in comparison to the new games?
Not so much the new games because I barely played. The most I've done in Call of Duty in like probably a decade is every Call of Duty comes out, I pre-order at GameStop, get the beta, play the beta, cancel my pre-order, put that money on something else. So, but from the little experience that I get from playing the betas, I mean, I don't know. I'm not one who notices this kind of stuff, but the gunplay does seem fine. But like how the maps are, definitely do seem to be on the worst side. Like, they weren't as memorable.
Oh yeah.
But once again, it might be a nostalgia thing. I don't know, but maybe not, because even current COD players are like, yeah, maps aren't that great in design wise. So that's kind of, maybe it's a little bit of both. Maybe it is half nostalgia, half these maps aren't as good these days.
Yeah,
But
that's as someone who plays a good amount of the like modern CODs every now and then, the map design is absolutely atrocious nowadays.
but yeah, it's fun to go back. I've only been playing the Modern Warfare 2 one with friends, so it's good time. But yeah, you also remember. Granted, I don't remember back then noob tubing being such a problem as it is now. Like, I
think
remember
it's
it
just
was
people
there.
they're remembering
That's always
how
been
to
an issue.
noob tube. Yeah.
I remember
I
it
don't
was there, but it wasn't like as abhorrent as it is now. Because I think the joke of Modern Warfare 2 was the game of all of noob tubing. I think they're taking that seriously now, and everyone's doing it.
It's ridiculous. Like noob tubing is genuinely so insane. But that's kind of like why I love MW2's multiplayer, is that it is so chaotic. Everything is overpowered. I mean, you got the Akimbo Rangers. That's something in and of itself. And then you have like just intervention, quick scoping, no scoping, all that good old stuff. One-man army. Some of the most ridiculous perks in fucking gaming history that I don't know why they're in the game and they thought they were balanced. But
Random
that's
Pro,
also,
bro.
dude, that's what makes MW2 so
Random Pro
special,
is
is
fucking
that
hilarious.
it is so genuinely unbalanced. Then kind of why it makes it so fun. And I understand a lot of people not liking the unbalanced nature. I love the unbalanced nature, but even then, if you want a balanced COD, Black Ops is pretty well balanced for the most part, and it arguably has the best maps in the series. And I could say that to Black Ops 2 as well. I highly recommend like checking out these games for even just the multiplayer. Hell, the campaigns still hold up really well.
Yeah,
I love the
especially once
classic
they
Call of
drop on
Duty.
Game Pass, because they're most likely all gonna.
Yep.
At least these 360 ones are probably gonna drop, and then maybe later on we'll get the Xbox One ones like Ghosts and Advanced Warfare and those. Maybe we'll get those later.
I keep wanting to buy Black Ops 2, and I'm like, no, it's gonna go on Game Pass. Don't
No,
spend
literally the
money
second
yet.
you buy it, they're going to announce it. So just
Yeah, I
bite the
already
bucket
know.
and just buy it already.
Nah, I'm just gonna wait. But yeah,
Do you want to
that's
mention?
everything.
I'm not cutting
Oh
off.
yeah, go ahead. No, go
I
ahead.
do want to mention that if they do port these games to the Switch, I could be wrong with this, but I'm not like 100%. But just like from what I know of the Switch, they don't really have, especially after like the whole Smash Bros situation, they don't really have like a multiplayer community that's like super big. I could see
Oh, yeah.
COD bringing that community to this, and that's gonna open
They-
all types of doors and shit. I know they have like Splatoon,
They
have
have
like Monster
Splatoon.
Hunter.
Yeah.
Like, this is gonna really boost that if they do
I
this.
think for COD to really take off on the Switch, it needs a voice chat, and maybe it's something that implement directly into the game through parties.
Oh, the cheese.
Okay, yeah,
but
that's
I
not
think-
happening.
I think
Look,
for COD, I mean, like Fortnite has that, but I think for COD to truly take off on a Nintendo platform, there needs to be a way to communicate with friends and teammates, not through
No, I
Discord
feel-
or whatever.
like Nintendo is so
COD
stingy when it comes to
should-
voice chat, and then COD voice
Yeah.
chat is like toxic as hell.
Fortnite has
There's
it.
no way they're gonna allow it. I
You
don't
see
see
what's on the Switch eShop? I don't think they really care.
That's the Switch eShop. We're talking about like parties and stuff. You start bullying a kid who owns a
I'll say-
Switch and only plays a Switch, it's gonna cause issues. And Nintendo's gonna be like, yeah, we're putting a stop to this.
I'll say this. I actually just don't. I don't agree with that because I just don't think Call of Duty's audience is on Switch. I just don't think the audience
Yeah.
overlap exists. I don't think it's gonna just suddenly exist if the Call of Duty games go on Switch.
Yeah, because
know, I feel like it
you're not
could.
going to play because Call of Duty lives on its multiplayer, and you're not
Yeah.
going to have the COD fans who like, oh yeah, Call of Duty on the go, because how good is that?
I'll
Like
play
on the
Spec
go
Ops on the go.
experience. Yeah, you can play Spec Ops in
But,
the campaign on the go, but no one's going to be playing the fucking multiplayer on like hotel Wi-Fi or wherever they're going.
Yeah, exactly. It's just not the audience overlap doesn't exist. That's my personal viewpoint. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
the
pretty
people
much
who
it.
played
Possibility that I see.
the people who play Call of Duty on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 back then are all PC gamers now for the most part. They're not on their Switch.
Not me, baby. I'm a holdout.
Console player boy.
Let's go. But yeah, that's everything in relation to Call of Duty servers. We're going to talk a bit more about Call of Duty and what we've been playing. But the next thing is a game that I think a lot of us are very excited for. The new Spider-Man 2 trailer dropped. This was at Comic-Con. Is that correct, Min?
Correct.
Yeah,
They had a
Okay,
panel
yeah.
at Comic-Con, San Diego
Okay,
Comic-Con.
cool. I don't pay attention to Comic-Con, so I was just kind of hoping that you would say something. But yeah, we
Fake
got a new
nerd.
Spider-Man. Yeah, no, that's comics. Come on, man. But it looks absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I'm just gonna ask Bench first and foremost. How do you feel about this trailer?
I mean, yeah, it looks great. I think some of the redesigns are still icky even after Miles Morales. I don't think the Peter change was good, but I'm kind of over it at this point. Like the story, everything looks good. What they're going for is good. We didn't see any more combat, but that'll obviously be good. And I think a lot of the story stuff is just going to be pretty classic Spider-Man, which is always a good time. And I think they may do some interesting stuff, whether Peter dies or not. Possibility, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean that's a big theory that's going around. The idea of Peter dying kind of being like a major story event. Dark, how do you feel?
Bench mainly took everything. I think it looks great. Venom's redesign is really nice, even though like his pose is kind of funny. I've been making jokes about it all week.
Oh,
I
it's
do
hilarious.
think,
I love it.
and like this is a very bulky Venom. I'm
Big
leaning
boy.
very heavily into like
He's
this is Craven
monstrous.
Venom.
You think it's Craven?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like I kind of said that as a joke at first, but then like the more I see, I'm like, wait a minute, it's probably like there's a possibility of this happening.
I could see it.
It would make
I feel-
sense.
I feel like it's
If,
just
like,
gonna
if you
be.
read the comic that this is based off of, it fits and it'll be their own twist on this.
What's Peter's friend named? I forget his name.
Harry.
Harry. Yeah, I think they're just gonna have him be Venom because they've really implied the whole symbiote thing at the end of the first.
Yeah, that was
game.
like heavily implied in one.
Yeah.
I would agree if they didn't, because they came out, they were like, oh yeah,
It'll be
Venom
passed
isn't
around.
somebody that like, yeah, Venom isn't like Eddie Brock. They try to make like a mystery of who Venom is. That kind of goes against the whole like them teasing Harry.
It also can be passed around though. Venom is like a symbiote; it just passes through hosts, and it definitely seems to be more of like a personal story with the game through Peter's struggle with Venom, and then we know Miles is going to confront Mr. Negative, which took his father from him. So I think it'll be very good from both those angles.
But yeah, that was the actual trailer. We actually got some details on Venom himself. Shinobi over on Twitter kind of got a lot of the main talking points of this. Insomniac talks Venom in Marvel Spider-Man 2. Tony Todd excels in the role, which I don't know. I just find this like quote funny. I would love to see a video game like company say, "Oh yeah, this voice actor we got, he fucking sucks," but we already made him.
I've said that multiple times on this podcast of like these PR announcements, like, yeah, the actor did such an amazing job. It's like there's never going to be a time when it said, yeah, he came in, he did his lines. Yep, okay.
He kind of just came in, collected his paycheck, and leave. He's okay. But then they also say story impacted his design, emphasizes Venom's strength, fear, overwhelming presence, and then goes into what happens when that darkness, symbiote takes over Peter. Which I think we got a lot of snippets of in the trailer itself with Peter. They clearly like leaning into this angle of like Peter being very much taken over by the symbiote and like how it's affecting him, his relationships and whatnot with Miles, MJ, all the characters. It's really interesting. Like I love the direction that they're going with this Venom storyline.
For sure. This is also my favorite Peter, so I think I'm really gonna like this.
I do want to say that they're taking a lot of inspiration from the Spectacular Spider-Man, which also did this like the very same thing with this with the symbiote. In fact, the Spectacular Spider-Man, they had it so that the symbiote, the black suit, the white crest, it would deepen and like his suit would keep changing and forming. Like the more white that was on the suit, like the spider symbol, the more that the symbiote has taken over, and it would gradually affect throughout the episodes. And it was a really cool thing that I haven't seen up until now again. So seeing them take this approach is really interesting.
Insomniac is just like a key studio for Sony now. They deliver constantly.
I still argue that they are Sony's best studio at the moment.
I think they're one of the best in the industry.
Yeah, just in the industry in general, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And we also got details on the new PS5. This comes from the PlayStation blog. First look, PS5 console, Marvel Spider-Man 2 limited edition bundle. Pre-orders begin July 28th, and the striking new design inspired by Marvel Spider-Man 2 in-game symbiote. This includes a first look at the PS5 console, Marvel Spider-Man 2 limited edition bundle, which features a custom PS5 console cover design and matching DualSense wireless controller. And I gotta say, guys, when it comes to limited edition consoles, I think this might be the peak. I genuinely
looks great. However, we have a rumored PS5 Slim for this year. So why are they making a?
No, not this year.
Slim, I thought was this year. Okay.
That one report that came out said November next year.
That was the Pro. Don't we have a Slim that's just like a soft redesign?
No.
I don't know about that.
Is this just a digital edition though? Like no option for disc?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question.
No, they're gonna have a disc version. I
don't think so.
The part about this, it doesn't really matter because you can buy the plates separately.
Doesn't matter.
No, they showed there's a disc version.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just buy the plates. You can use whatever version you feel like.
Buying the plates, that's very exciting because I'm not going to buy a whole new PS5.
Yeah, so I hope more special editions start doing that.
Yeah, that's pretty smart for Sony. I don't know if they did that.
I'm surprised God of War Ragnarok didn't do that.
Yeah, the fact that God of War, wait, did that get a special edition console?
I don't think so.
It didn't get a console. It got a controller. It got a controller.
I think the problem was there that it still was 2 years out from that it was pretty. They're just still selling off some stock they have backed up. So I don't think it made sense for them to make just a whole new.
Ragnarok was a PS4 title, so I feel like they want to make Spider-Man 2 like, hey, this is the first big PS5 exclusive outside of the other PS5 exclusives that are no longer PS5 exclusives.
Final Fantasy 16 Returnal
had the Japan one.
Yeah, they had a Japan exclusive.
They should have did that for that as well.
Yeah, I think I'll get the plates. I'm definitely getting the controller. I'm going back and forth on the plates. I'm going back and forth on the plates. I've actually never gotten a special edition console anything.
Oh, me neither.
I got my Wii U was the Zelda Wind Waker one.
I got
the Wind Waker one is just a black Wii U, isn't it?
It was a black Wii U, but the gamepad is a little different.
Oh, okay.
A lot of the Gears of War collector's edition controllers.
What about
nothing console-wise.
Yeah, because like controllers is like you could just buy a controller. It's like okay, like a $60 investment, but like you're gonna like use that controller the whole time. The console is like, oh man, I guess I
Gotta get a
sell
whole
my
other
old
console.
console, buy a whole new one. Like I feel like, especially with how PS5 stock is, it's a lot better now. But also, it's like I don't trust you. Did you make enough? But yeah, that's pretty much everything in relation to Spider-Man 2. Do you guys have any last thoughts on that?
No.
It is expensive though. The plates are $50
50
for
It's
2
not
pieces
actually
of
too bad.
plastic.
I mean, yeah, but it's got a cool design.
It's got a cool paint job.
Yeah. I mean, $50. That's actually cheaper than I expected, to be honest.
Yeah, I expected like 80.
Yeah, same.
That's what you're spending on the controller.
No, that's what I'm spending on the game because when we buy the Deluxe Digital Edition.
You're getting the one with the statue?
No, I'm getting the Digital Deluxe Edition that comes with like 10 extra suits or whatever.
So does the one with the statue, but you also get a statue in the mail.
But I don't like physical.
Oh,
There it
wow,
is.
Look at you.
He's
What a man.
praying in the downfall of
He said-
physical. He
He
is the
said
problem.
the thing that everyone was afraid of. God.
Listen, I only
So
say
Alan
what
Wake
people
2 is
want.
digital only because of bench.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad that the industry is just going to get overall worse because of people like you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I hate this guy so much. Okay, last big news topic of the week. I say big news topic. I think I'm the only one who cares about this. But Armored Core 6 got a new trailer. It's a story CGI trailer. I'm just going to ask now, did anyone else watch this?
I
I did.
watched it.
Cool mech game looks cool.
Yeah,
I
pretty
mean,
much
the cinematics were cool, but that's all about all I could say.
It's pretty much the Elden
Awesome.
Ring story trailer that just like it's just
All right. This is
Sega.
my time to shine.
Time to bust out the
time to
nerd.
mute Wolf.
Okay, well, go to podcast with me. Shut up. Armored Core 6, definitely. I'm not an Armored Core fan. I'll say that right now, but I am a massive From Software fan. And this trailer did a lot for me just in terms of like the aesthetics of Armored Core. I think just in general, like they did a great job of kind of showcasing. Because like here's the thing, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, CGI trailer." They've showed plenty of gameplay up to this point, so like a CGI trailer like right here, is not too bad in my opinion. I will say that I do think what's it called? I think there was not enough in the trailer to make me go, that's what the story is going to be about. But also, I feel like I don't really need to know because, like, just in general, like they're going to actually show that stuff in the game. Like we're gonna get. How do I say this? I don't need to know everything about a story going into the game because I'm gonna play the game and experience the story. When I get pre-release footage of a game, I want to just get an understanding of kind of like how they're gonna be handling it. Just like an overall like this is what it'll look like. I did talk to a friend of the show about this, and all I'll say is that he very much said that the augmented humans kind of being a thing in this game, very much the humans being a part of the mechs, something like that. I don't know much about mecha in general, so I'm just going off of what he said. But that's something that's kind of coming back from the original Armored Core. But in general, like Armored Core games in general don't really have much of a connecting through line. They're very much all in their own separate canon, kind of like Final Fantasy in that regard. So this is going to be a great jumping in for the series. I'm ready for it. I love From Software. I feel like they never miss, and just the idea of a new Armored Core, always like just them doing something different from a Souls like is, and then just going full mecha is very exciting to me. So again, I'm not the hugest fan of mechs, but I also think I am willing to give mecha a shot if they look interesting to me, and Armored Core looks very interesting to me. Was that enough Armored Core talk?
I want to jump out
Oh,
of the point
more.
you brought up real quick. You mentioned how
Yeah, go
like
for it.
they don't really show much in the trailers. I think that's a really good thing, especially in this day and age. I don't know
yeah.
why.
Agreed.
Less is more because I think like the biggest like culprit of this as of late is Final Fantasy 16. They showed a lot of its like really like highlight moments within the trailers.
Yeah, that's why I
Like,
skipped
for
over
no
the
reason.
trailers.
I'm like,
I was just
there's
like,
no
okay,
reason
I've
for you to be
seen
shooting this. Another game that did it was Trails into Reverie, but I'll get into that later. But like, people who make
Trails?
game trailers, stop showing all of the cool shit inside the trailer. Save some of it, please.
No, I
But yeah.
fully agree with you. I think trailers do need to stop showing so much, and that's why the Armored Core stuff. I feel like every trailer I see, it's like I'm not like I don't feel spoiled. I don't feel like I know
Well,
everything going on, and that's
The
exciting.
big problem with the constant trailer thing is like a game gets announced 4 or 5 years before it comes out, and you just got to keep reminding people about it. So you just constantly get thrown trailers.
Yeah,
People are Breath of the
that-
Wild too. I don't give a shit, bro. You don't need to show me trailers 24/7. Just let me know the game's coming. They showed us jack
Yeah, I mean-
shit, and the game had all this fucking cool shit inside of it. People were happy.
It
We
was-
need more of that.
it was it's a weird thing. Like a lot of trailers just feel like the need to justify their existence as a game. It's like, guys, we're showing another trailer at this event and then this event. It's like you don't need to do all that. Like just have a reveal trailer, gameplay trailers, hands-on stuff, and then like maybe a launch trailer in there. That's it. Like Armored Core hasn't really gotten that much of a marketing. Like it got announced last year in December, and it's coming out next month, which is absolutely insane to me. But and then now it's coming out. And it's like I feel like I don't have that many trailers, and I don't need that many trailers. I've already sold on the game.
I need to watch some gameplay trailers.
It looks good. It looks really good. I'll say that much. And we are planning on doing some a meal prep on Armored Core 6. I'll say that right now, and I'm really excited to talk more about that game.
Spoilers.
Okay, listen. And I'm just hyping them up.
Things are in the works, guys. Okay. Alright,
We got
shit
big plans. Moving on to our small topics. So a lot of these are very much like big topics in and of itself. I don't even. I guess like just to start us off, Xbox Live Gold is transitioning into Xbox Game Pass Core. This comes from the actual official Xbox account. Today, we're continuing our commitment to give players more choice and value by introducing Xbox Game Pass Core, launching on September 14th. Game Pass Core is the evolution of Xbox Live Gold. Game Pass Core will give our players access to our advanced multiplayer network, a select collection of 25 games to play with friends around the world, and exclusive member deals, all for $9.99 USD per month or $59.99 USD per year. Our launch collection of more than 25 titles from Xbox Game Studios, Bethesda, and our content partners will offer something for everyone to play on their Xbox Series X/S consoles and Xbox One consoles. Today, we're confirming the following titles for launch, with more to be announced in advance of September 14th. New titles will be added 2 to 3 times a year. The list of games is Among Us, Descenders, Dishonored 2, Doom Eternal, Fable Anniversary, Fallout 4, Fallout 76, Forza Horizon 4, Gears 5, Grounded, Halo 5 Guardians, Halo Wars 2, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, Human Fall Flat, Inside, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Psychonauts 2, State of Decay 2, The Elder Scrolls Online, Tamriel Unlimited. Game library may vary over time by country. And for current Xbox Live Gold members, on September 14th, Live Gold members will automatically become Game Pass Core members with no change in pricing and have immediate access to a new library of over 25 high-quality games. Member deals and discounts will also be part of Game Pass Core. Games with Gold will come to an end on September 1st. Players can continue to access any Xbox One games they previously redeemed through Games of Gold if they remain a Game Pass Core or Game Pass Ultimate member. Regardless of subscription status, any 360 titles redeemed by Games with Gold in the past will be kept in the player's library. So I said a lot there, especially when reading through the games list. I guess I'll just immediately ask Dark, you're the big Xbox guy. Any thoughts on this?
So I'm not sure if you guys remember, because this happened like I think like a year or two ago. We heard news that Xbox Live Gold was going to be disappearing. I forgot who leaked it. It might have been Jeff Grubb, to be honest. Somebody leaked it that Xbox Live Gold was going to be taken. This happened around the same time that they increased the price of Xbox Live Gold. Funny enough, and that backfired like terribly. But
Oh yeah,
yeah, this has been in the works for a super long time, and so it's nice to see that this is finally happening. It sounds like it's a benefit. I don't really see any negatives. They just worded it fucking confusing as hell. I don't know why Xbox is
yeah,
like hire somebody that can word this shit better. Like even the Xbox, like
Yeah, I agree.
who makes these names? But besides that, it seems like people
Game
are
Pass
winning.
Lite.
You know?
It
Yeah,
seems like
pretty
it's
much.
just Game Pass
Game
Lite.
Pass Mini.
I just find the interesting part of this, the list of games, like there's like 3 or 4 non-Xbox first-party studio games there, so it's kind of interesting to see, like, I guess they paid the extra money or whatever worked in the contract or whatever to get, what was it, Among Us, Humans Fall Flat, and something else, like these non-Xbox
Do you
first-party
want me to
games.
read through the whole list of games?
No!
So here's the thing: they're not paying any extra money because it's just Game Pass. There's no more Xbox Live Gold. They're just making everybody Game Pass. That's all it is. They're just giving you some Game Pass games.
Yeah, it's all the
And
stuff
they don't
that's
even
already on
renew any
Game Pass,
contracts or anything. Yeah,
they're
exactly.
putting it through the core. The only thing is that I feel like these are going to be like permanent titles through the core. I doubt they'll remove stuff. I mean, they could always do that. I mean, that
I mean, it
happened
depends
with
on
the,
what type of contract, but they'll probably
They happened
renew
with the
it.
PlayStation Plus collection with Persona 5 when that had to get removed from the PlayStation Plus collection, which I
Right.
still keep forgetting that the PlayStation Plus collection was a thing. I mean, now we have the new PlayStation Plus thing, which I have
that
my
reminds me,
opinions
I
on.
haven't downloaded
That's
that.
gonna
I'm
be-
gonna go download that during the podcast.
Thank you, Moon. We wouldn't be here without you. But yeah, I guess any other thoughts on this?
It's about damn
Alright.
This is the best deal in gaming. There you go.
I still have Game Pass Ultimate, so this doesn't affect me.
Yeah, I don't really have any need for this because it's like I already have Game Pass. Moving on, we got some Mortal Kombat 1 trailers. Moon kind of mentioned this at the beginning of the show, but we have got like kind of the official look, like a brand new like story-esque trailer showing some brand new characters. I already forgot their names, so I'm gonna rely on you guys to handle that part. And also a DLC trailer. Do you guys remember the names of the new characters? So
It's
I look like
Lame.
a competent host.
I can't remember what it is. Lame May or Lame Me or something like that. It's a character I'm not familiar with because she's from the like 3D era, from like the PlayStation 2 era of Mortal Kombat that I'm not familiar with. Pretty much my knowledge only extends to the reboot of Mortal Kombat 9 back in like, what was that, 2011? So it's a character I'm unfamiliar with, but apparently she's like some bodyguard for the royalties, characters like Melina and Katana and all that. So interesting character. I still need to look into this, but there's the other character that revealed besides Baraka, who's just Baraka hasn't been redesigned. It's Baraka's still Baraka.
Yeah.
But there's another character, Tanya. Now there was a Tanya in Mortal Kombat X, who was a DLC character, but she is completely different from the Tanya that's in this one. So I don't know if it's just coincidentally have the same name or if they have completely changed this character, because she was like Middle Eastern or Egyptian or something like that in Mortal Kombat X, but now here she's a black woman. So I don't know if it's a complete redesign of the character or reimagining, or if this is just another character with the same name. So I have to look into that. But they all look cool. Baraka had some cool combos. If I were to play one of these three, it'd probably be Baraka. And yeah, Zori Continuum looks good. I just wish I could. I would just wish it was coming out at a different time. There's too many other games coming out around then.
There was also the.
Oh my god, for cutting you off.
Oh, no, go ahead.
The whole story premise of this new Mortal Kombat is really dumb and stupid in my opinion.
Yeah, we know
But
you're
what did they
not
set up-
moving on.
Yeah, you're like the
No,
one
no, no, no,
person
no.
who doesn't.
I'm
like
not.
it.
Let me explain my point before you like start roasting my ass. Hold up. They started making changes to the characters fundamentally. So now Sub-Zero and Scorpion, for instance, they're brothers now instead of like mortal enemies. So them changing her race possibly could just be something like that.
Yeah, that's what I
So it
figured.
does
So
fit.
I just wanted a confirmation on that.
But yes, the game still looks fucking shit. All right. Kidding.
Oh my god, this is such an awful take. You're the one human being on Earth who thinks it looks bad.
Guarantee there's other people besides me who believe this.
There's
There
no
are
one
dozens
else.
There are
There's
dozens.
literally
The only
no one
people
else.
who think it look bad are just people who don't like Mortal Kombat.
I do like
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat. I just don't like this
I don't
one, but it
believe
looks like fucking shit. I
It
played
looks
most
the
of them.
same. It looks the exact same. I have no idea what
No,
you're
it
talking
doesn't.
about.
It looks too hyper
literally
realistic.
the
I don't
same.
like it. It looks weird, bro. That's my take.
This take makes no sense. That's the problem.
I mean, the
It doesn't
designs
make
are
sense.
all different because it's a revamp. It's a in-universe reboot. So of course they're gonna
It's not
change some
the
stuff.
It's not the designs. I don't. The designs actually, for the most part, seem fine. Besides Ermac, which they showed, which we get into in
Yeah,
a
we'll
bit.
talk. We'll
But,
talk about the combat back in a bit.
It's the there is a super hyper realistic look to it that I'm not vibing with. I don't know how else to
I
describe
mean,
it.
they've been doing that since like Mortal Kombat X. That they've always gone like to the as far as
That's why
they
I'm so
could go at
confused
the
by Brooks'
animation at the time.
points.
I don't
It's
know
like,
how to explain it.
always look
That's how it was. That's just my point. But yeah,
I do want to also mention that the combat pack got revealed. With new characters, I see Homelander, which is the big one that they're showcasing. Omni-Man from Invincible, Peacemaker, Ermac, and then two other characters I don't recognize. I'm
Quan
gonna
Chi
need
and
some help.
Takeda.
Quan Chi and Takeda. Okay, thank you so much. But yeah, that's honestly a really strong DLC lineup in my opinion. The big ones being Homelander, Omni-Man, and Peacemaker.
Which apparently Homelander is going to be the first one out of the gate, because I forgot where I read it, but they actually gave a schedule for Homelander, which was supposed to be early 2024. So it seems like Homelander is going to be the first of the DLCs to be out, which I find
I think
interesting.
the
I thought
trailer
he'd be
showed
like
in
the
the release
last.
order too.
Yeah, that could be a
because-
situation like that.
And yeah, strong DLC pack for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's going to be crazy seeing someone like Peacemaker going up against Omni-Man and Homelander. It's like, what?
I can't wait for the. I mean, like
Power
what I
of
do for every
guns.
Mortal Kombat games. Every Mortal Kombat game, look up the fatalities on YouTube when it comes out and be like, "This is my game." That's all I
So when
care
did the-
about. But like,
When does the DLC drop? Is it just over time?
Yeah, they
it's
drop
like
the characters one at a time, like every couple months. So Homelander's going to be
It's
very
first in like
standard
early
fighting game stuff.
2024.
I'll tell you this: it's a better release schedule than Overwatch 2 characters when they come out.
Who?
Be similar to Street Fighter release. Like how do you go in that?
Mhm.
I'm just worried about Homelander is just going to be Superman from Injustice all over again with his laser eyes. I can tell you right now, that's going to be annoying.
Oh man, that's annoying. Yeah, that reminds me of like a lot of projectile characters in Smash, which
But
yeah, I mean, Moon, you know that's not a fun
Mhm.
feeling.
yeah, Quan Chi and
Uh,
Ermac make sense because they're classic Mortal Kombat characters, but they apparently have no correlation or inclusion in the story, so they're just got relegated to DLC. Takeda's the weird case here though because he is a new character from Mortal Kombat X. He's part of what's called the Combat Kids, is what they called those characters. It was like a group of 4 characters from Mortal Kombat X because they
such
were
a
the
dumb
kids.
name.
Because they were like half the squad was kids from previous characters, and then they introduced new characters like Takeda, and they were just part of this teenage group. But apparently Takeda's been the fan favorite since then, and so he got the inclusion here. But I'm just curious. I'm guessing it's just because it's fan favoritism, because clearly with the universe resetting, Takeda should not be born at this point in time. So it's
I think
it's
he's
just-
related to Kenshi, I believe, right? I could be
yeah,
wrong.
I think he's related, but he's not like his kid or anything.
Yeah, Kenshi
Yeah,
seemed
he's-
pretty. Like he seemed like he was like 30s, 40s. It could
Yeah,
happen.
so this could be. I mean, we don't know. Once again, it's
Be a
DLC,
teenage,
so
but,
it's
you know.
yeah, it's still DLC, so there's really no touch on the story. So this could just be like, hey, here you go. Here's fan favorite Takeda back, and they don't have to worry about explaining why is Takeda here when everyone's young again. So I think that's why he got relegated to DLC. But yeah, regarding
Yeah,
the
that's-
Ermac thing, it's he needs a bit more red in his costume. But besides that, I think he looks fine.
So, getting into Ermac, his design, like he's always been kind of like a mummy, but he's always been like wrapped up. Most of the time,
Mhm.
he has like the red. He's always like the red ninja compared to like the ninjas. This one did it, showing like his full mummy side. It looks really jarring and weird.
He looks
If you know,
he looks like
if you
the
know him
Husk.
from previous games. Yeah, it is a really interesting take they went with him, and I'm not that big
They-
of a fan of it.
They went with the whole husk design. He's like a living husk. Of
I'm
a
sure he'll have
person.
like something more of what we were expecting, but his base design is not really hitting for me.
Quan Chi just looks like Quan Chi.
They didn't even change much of him.
okay.
It is interesting to
well,
see that Quan Chi isn't involved in the story when Shang Tsung is supposedly the big bad, because they usually go hand in hand. So it's interesting that Quan Chi's nowhere to be found in the story.
He was
Moving
involved in the story for the last game, right?
I don't think so.
Or was it the
He's
game
just been
before?
he's been kind of absent.
He was in Sub-Zero Anthologies. That's all I know.
He was in
That's a-
9 and I think X. I think he skipped out on 11 because I think he
Yes,
died in
uh,
X if I remember correctly.
Yeah, since Sub-Zero and Scorpion are like brothers now, they're probably not gonna have that crazy rivalry, meaning that he can't abuse Sub-Zero or Scorpion like he did in the previous entries. So that's why he's out of the story this time.
All right, that's good to hear. Next big news or small news topic, I guess. Star Wars Outlaws got some new details. This comes Shinobi got a little breakdown for us all around Twitter. Star Wars Outlaws open world details. 4 planets revealed so far, 5th heavily implied. Comparable in size to 2 or 3 zones in Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. You hear the tiredness in my voice
The
just
tired.
reading that out.
How fucking big that
Oh,
game is, bro.
God.
This game is huge. Okay.
To 2 or 3 zones in Odyssey. I mean, like 2 or 3 zones. I think they mean like the whole map is 2 or 3 zones.
You know how fucking big those 2 or 3 zones? I played
Oh,
through
yeah,
Odyssey,
no,
bro.
they're
That shit
big-ass
is fucking huge. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Each is handcrafted, not procedurally generated. All right, I know you're trying to like get on Starfield for that. Don't act like you're
Eat your
all
heart out,
cool like that.
Starfield.
Acting as if these massive zones are like, as if they handcrafted everything. I highly disbelieve that.
Then predetermined areas for takeoff plus landing. Did this do anything for you guys' excitement? Fusion's not here. He's definitely the most excited person for this game.
I'm definitely
he was here.
excited for the game, but it didn't make me any more excited or anything. I'm going to play it for sure.
I mean, I definitely
know.
prefer something to this over than like Starfield and having its 10 like unique planets and everything else. It's just kind of like, here's a mineral planet. Here you go. That's all this planet's
Take
good
that
for.
back.
I do wonder
We don't
how
know
it's
if
going
that's
to be
the
like
case yet.
going from
Bro,
Starfield
it's
to
shit. We
this.
don't even know.
Because
Dark Human
Starfield comes out
Intervention.
before this, and they completely show it up and not be good whenever we eventually play.
I mean, it'll be a decent chunk in between. Like, we'll have Starfield September. This
Yeah.
isn't until like what?
2024.
Did they
Just
give like
2024.
a quarter or
Nope,
anything?
No.
Just 2024.
Okay, I can see this being like a mid to late 2024 game.
People are gonna forget about, or I don't want to say forget about Starfield, but it's not gonna be like the main center of attention. Like,
Yeah,
you look at Elden Ring and Horizon, like they literally came out like a week apart, so that's why Horizon was in a lot of ways unfairly compared to Elden Ring in that regard. But then like with this
The
game,
first
it's
one
like
came
this
out
is like
with
a year
Zelda.
apart. Yeah, dude, Horizon is cursed.
Yeah, Horizon
I-
has the worst. When the Elden
I'm
Ring
so-
expansion comes out, they could have announced something for Horizon like the same day. I'm telling you.
That's gonna be something else. But yeah, no, I got, in general, like, this doesn't really get me too excited. If anything, it gets me less excited for the game. Just hearing the words comparable in size to 2 or 3 zones in Odyssey. Oh man,
that just means
not
there's going to be a
something-
lot of side quests that I'm going to ignore while I do the main story.
Yeah, no, exactly. This is just doesn't do much for my personal excitement. But also, I'm not a Ubisoft fan. Fusion's a Ubisoft fan, but he couldn't make it on tonight. God bless his soul.
He was reduced to atoms.
Reduced to atoms, yes, sir. Next news story: the Borderlands compilation Pandora's Box remaster for PC rated in South Africa. This comes from Sal Romano over at Gamatsu. The Film and Publication Board of South Africa has published its classified films and games for April and May 2023, which reveals the unannounced The Borderlands compilation Pandora's Box from 2K, and also Origination from Bandai Namco. I don't know much about Origination, so that's why I didn't put it in the headline, but the big one here is the Borderlands Pandora's Box compilation. Dark, you're a huge Borderlands fan. You got any thoughts on this?
What is the point of this? There is like 3 Borderlands collection. Look, there's not even that many Borderlands games. It's like there's 1, 2, the pre-sequel, and then 3, and then like there's the Tiny Tina spinoff.
There's
There's
also
like
the
3
uh,
collections
Tales.
for those games.
Tales from the.
But
There's
this-
also
this
the
for Borderlands,
2
I'm
different Tales from
discounting-
Borderlands.
I'm just counting like the mainline series ones.
Oh yeah. Then yeah, you got all the main ones.
There is like
I
3
think-
collections for these 3 games already. Like, what else could you add in this collection?
I'm guessing
Here's
this
my
just
theory.
has
Already
to
added.
be.
Is it
I'm
going to be
guessing
1,
this
2,
one
and
just
3?
has
Because I
3.
guess they haven't
I'm
done that yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing that has to be just 1, 2, 3, maybe pre-sequel in there too.
Why not just
Yeah,
like
it's just a
up
full
the
collection.
previous collection to have it? Why are you making
Money.
a brand new?
Money.
Yeah,
Yo,
no,
delist it like they did with Metal Gear Solid, the ports.
Oh, God,
Delist
don't
it
do that.
and then put it back up. It's the same thing.
I'll tell you right now. It's because Gearbox realized that their only real money printer is Borderlands, and they're like, okay, we gotta milk this franchise for all that it's worth.
For any of you guys that haven't played the Borderlands series, save your money. Go buy the collections out now for like $10 every time they go on sale. They're great games. You have to save your money for this new collection for whatever reason they're doing it.
Yeah, because I'm sure
Um,
buying, because like even Borderlands 3, the newest game, goes on sale to like the base version is to like $8 or $9.
Oh,
So you
The Super
buy,
Deluxe Edition goes like $20.
yeah.
you
So
can
it's
get
like
the
you
whole thing
buy,
now.
yeah, you buy 2 pre-sequel and 3 separately on the store on sale for like less than what this collection is going to be probably.
I don't
I'm
understand
like
the purpose of it.
I'm a very casual Borderlands fan, and I played 2, 3. I played a little bit of pre-sequel, hated it, but 2 and 3 I enjoyed a lot. And I didn't play any of the DLCs for 3. I'll say that right now. But like, if they release this collection, I'll tell you right now, I'm completely skipping it because it's just not. I'm not interested enough.
You're
in
better off getting
Borderlands.
the Handsome Collection. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
super
exactly.
cheap.
You buy, yeah, better bet up behind the Handsome collection and just buying 3 separately.
Or the Legendary
Exactly.
Collection. I think that comes with like the other one.
Yeah,
Because,
Legendary
Borderlands
comes with
first.
the first game.
Yeah, which you don't really need to play the first. The second one's just an upgraded version of the
First
first
game is fun. You get appreciation for the first game after you play too. But yeah.
Exactly. And also, while we're on the topic of Borderlands, my boy Randy Pitchford over on Twitter gave us the date for the
Let's
Borderlands
go.
movie, which will launch in theaters August 9th, 2024. Man, this movie. Did you guys remember this existed?
I
Yeah.
just
You know?
casually remind myself of it every couple months.
You
Yeah,
mentioning
no,
Randy Pitchford gave me the PTSD flashbacks to his magic trick. But
I get PTSD of when he assaulted Kevin Hart at his trailer and said, "Hey, Kevin," and he's just like, "What the hell? Who are you?"
I don't know, man. Hopefully the movie is good. I want to support Kevin Hart.
It
It's
won't
not-
be.
It's not
Fucking
gonna be
hilarious.
good.
It's gonna
There's no
suck.
way in hell.
I mean, I want to watch it for
See,
Kate
Kevin Hart
Blanchett
rolling?
and Jack Black and Jamie Lee
Yeah,
Curtis, but
Jack Black's there.
Yeah, who's Jack Black playing? I don't even know.
Claptrap.
Oh, okay,
that's
okay, that
that's
makes sense.
that's good casting.
That's
yeah.
that's a good casting.
He's
No,
he's
yeah,
voicing Claptrap.
Yeah, I don't know. This movie's not gonna be good, but like I'm also so freaking excited for
It
it
could be
'cause
so
it's
bad
gonna
it's
be
good.
awful.
Like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
it could be
for
one of
sure.
those.
That's why I'm excited for it.
And like it kind of works
I-
because Borderlands is like a very funky and psychotic universe, or like something so bad it can fit. And I'm just ashamed to say that, but there's not much else to say about it.
I will say there were a lot of reports of this movie that they finished filming like 2 years ago. It's been in post-production hell from what
And
I've
there's
heard
even
of a
been
lot
like
of
one or two
reports.
reshoots as well.
Yeah, and I heard I forget who it was, like a writer or something. They kind of just don't even want to be associated with the project. I think it
Yeah,
was
they're
the
going
actual
under like some
director.
pseudonym now,
Yeah,
so
it's
that's directly credited.
I mean, that just kind of tells you this movie's not going to be good, but man, am I excited for it. Because at the end of the day, if it's so bad it's good, damn, is it going to be good?
Do you want a quick refresh on who everyone's playing? Because I just pulled it up right now.
Yeah, go for it.
So Kate Blanchett is Lilith, Kevin Hart
Makes
is
sense.
Roland, Jack Black
Okay.
is Claptrap, Jamie Lee Curtis is Dr. Patricia Tanis, Ariana Greenblatt is Tiny Tina, Florian Muntuno is Krieg, and that's again for the main cast. And there's like some smaller characters here at the bottom.
Oh man,
Okay, that's
Tiny
a good point,
Tina's
though.
in this movie. Damn.
Krieg is in this movie too.
Hey, Krieg, I love,
Roland
but Tiny
is
Tina.
Roland is the most serious character in this entire series.
Yeah, and then Kevin
I
Hart
think
is
I
playing
can-
him. That is a
I am
weird
not sure
cast.
how this is gonna work.
Oh man.
And homie Kevin
Yeah.
just needed to be in the movie.
I mean, yeah, but there are plenty of other roles that he could have done. Because Roland is like the super serious military guy. Like that's how he always is. Well, everyone is like comedic and shit.
Next up, we got some Xbox ABK headlines, just some quick ones. Sony agrees to the Call of Duty 10-year deal, but it does not extend to all ABK games. This comes from Tom Warren over at Twitter. Sony has agreed to a 10-year deal for Call of Duty with Microsoft to keep the franchise on PlayStation after the proposed Activision Blizzard acquisition. Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer says Sony and Microsoft have agreed to a binding agreement to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. While Microsoft's initial announcement doesn't mention 10 years for Call of Duty on PlayStation, Carrie Perez, head of global communications at Xbox, confirmed a 10-year commitment to The Verge. Perez later confirmed to The Verge that the deal is only for Call of Duty, though that makes the deal similar to the 10-year agreement between Microsoft and Nintendo, but not the various deals Microsoft have struck with NVIDIA and other cloud gaming platforms to bring Call of Duty and other Xbox Activision games to rival services. But yeah, I guess that's something in of itself. But I also want to read this other headline real quick, that the merger agreement deadline extended to October 18th. Phil Spencer over on Twitter says this: Microsoft and Activision Blizzard have extended the merger agreement deadline to October 18th. We're optimistic about getting this done and excited about bringing more games to more players everywhere. So yeah, just quick headlines. Dark, you're the most like invested in this case. Do you have any thoughts on these?
So something I want to point out, which like a lot of people missed, the original when the deal first went through, they sent out the contracts to everybody, sent one to Sony. The original contract was for 10 years of guaranteed Call of Duty and other Activision Blizzard titles. If you notice, this new contract is just Call of Duty. Sony pretty much fucked around and found out with this, and they signed it no less. I'm assuming this is a big part to play because of them taking them to court and wasting their time pretty much. In terms of them extending the deadline, from what I've seen and like just reading the room and other people reading the room as well, this deal is gonna go through. Like it does not look like this deal's gonna fail.
Oh, without
They
question.
just needed a little bit extra time to like
Yeah.
finalize things and play this 40 chess thing that they're doing. If you were following the case, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just a matter of time before it goes through. But the end is finally in sight. I'm glad we can stop talking about this. This is fucking annoying.
For real.
Yeah.
But it is interesting because wasn't it also said they gave up a 7-year deal that was Call of Duty and all Activision? Now they're going for it. Now they're just getting a 10-year for just Call of Duty by itself.
So the way first they
Um,
started out, okay, let's do 7 years, and then Sony was like, the fuck is this? So then they raised it to 10 for everybody, and that 10-year deal included Call of Duty and Activision titles. This new one is just Call of Duty. So they took away the other. I mean, in theory, if Microsoft felt like they can
I
make
mostly wanted to call it They
Diablo
were pretty happy with that.
exclusive and other types of shit.
They're happy with just Call of Duty, and also I don't think that Microsoft's gonna stop. But like, if in theory, Diablo 5 comes out, I think they sell that on PlayStation too.
Yeah, they most likely will. But they set themselves in a position where if they felt like they could, and to be honest, nobody else has. Like Sony has themselves to blame for this. Like, if they had an argument in court, I would have understood. They went up to court and they were like defending Microsoft. So I don't understand what the fuck this whole thing was. It's a big waste of time. But yeah.
Like the whole deal, a big waste of time.
I'm just gonna say, Call of Duty 2034 is gonna be lit though.
Yeah, let's do it. Exclusive.
Exclusive. Day one Game Pass. Game Pass Supreme Day one. It's ultra deluxe.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Game Pass is definitely going to go up in price after all this happens. I'll tell you that right now. Maybe like a year later they'll go up in price. Maybe not like the day of. It's like, hey, we bought Activision Blizzard. Game Pass is going up in price. Like they're not going to do that. They're going to like
just increase the price a little bit, like a bit ago.
Yeah, they did. Just raise it a bit.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to raise
it
for a while.
Yeah, at least a year after the deal. I would say that. Moving on, we got our next news story here. Gundam Evolution ending service November 29th, 2023. This comes from Orpheus Joshua over at noisypixel.com. Bandai Namco has announced that their free-to-play shooter Gundam Evolution will end service on November 29th, 2023. However, various in-game content updates will be released leading up to the title's ceased existence. I actually read on the website, and it is genuinely like one of the funniest things because when you go on the website, it just says important announcement. Like, oh wow, something big is happening. Like, it looks like a happy thing, and it's like, oh yeah, we're shutting down the servers. It's like, oh damn, okay, it's aggressive.
This is like the funniest announcement for us.
because we
jinxed this into existence.
We got so side story. Me and Dark were playing Gundam Evolution, and then like we saw the news story while we were playing.
Like literally 2 days later.
It was
I got back into Gundam recently because I'm a big Gundam fan. I was like, you know what? We got Gundam Evolution here. Let's bring the podcast boys in with me, right? We were playing. It was fun, but the game's nothing crazy. And then the day of that we're doing this, the game's like, oh yeah, we're shutting down the servers.
How long did that game last? Like, when did they come out?
It came out for console a year.
December.
No, it was like December for.
It wasn't even a year.
September for PC. Yeah, it was September.
Wow, it wasn't even a whole year.
Which is insane. Yeah, no, genuinely, like that's just a sucky news story. I mean, this could extend to just a larger conversation about live service titles. That'd be a fun topic of the show, honestly, of this idea of like live service games just continuously having a shorter and shorter lifespan. I mean, Rumbleverse was like a big one where it came out and then died in like less than half a year, I think.
Knockout City as well. Like all these games that seemed like they were hits, and then all of a sudden they just died off. Like, okay, guys, shut off servers.
Here's what I think is happening. I think it's pretty clear that they want to do something with Gundam IP. They just don't know how to do it. They've been experimenting a lot. I'm not sure if you guys realize. There's a lot of like random one-off Gundam games, and they're all vastly different. They're all just trying different things. This was probably the closest that they've gotten to a success. I don't know what they have to do to make a really good one. To be honest,
turn-based tactics.
Yo, do it. I think a turn-based. That sounds really good, actually. Try it fucking turn-based Gundam. I mean, it might be the one you're looking for.
It's a weird
just
thing,
look at Front Mission. That's basically what that is.
When I look at Gundam, I don't think team-based shooter. Like this, I don't know. I think that's just me. But it never. I'll say right now, like I'm not like a Gundam fan at all. But like, I gave the game a shot. I didn't like it, but I gave it a shot. Like I also don't think the game should just shut down service. Like not even a year into its release. So overall, just kind of unfortunate release. Moving on, we got a big, a little sales update. Resident Evil 4 Remake has sold over 5 million units worldwide. Wario64 had this on Twitter. Cumulative sales of the games in the series now exceed 142 million units as of March 31st. Just overall,
actually a little disappointing.
Well,
at least I thought it would sell. I thought it would sell better.
I think 5 million.
Oh, what you expecting?
5 million. Final Fantasy
5 million for a single player game.
For a Resident Evil
game to release. Yeah,
this is good.
I think it's a little disappointing.
Okay, here's the thing. this is a remake. Remakes sell
Yes.
worse than new games.
This is a
but-
remake, and this is the Resident Evil series. For the Resident Evil series as a whole, this is good, especially given how long the game's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
out. What
Yeah.
universe this is bad, but
Man, you've been
I
clouded
don't
by
think it's
Switch
bad.
sales.
I just think it's less than I thought it would be.
You got to look at
You've
like
been
what were you
other
clouded
thinking
by
games.
was
Like,
Switch
Switchy?
sales numbers.
I mean, look at Final Fantasy 16. Look at every other like big game that's come out that's not a Switch game. Like this is about average to good.
Yeah, like this is like
What
a
numbers
good
were you
sales
expecting? Like, that would have been good in your like opinion.
genuinely.
$8
Bench
million?
8 million. No, that's way
That's
too
a
much.
lot, bro.
I'm trying to think of a
It's
big
a lot.
AAA game that's not a Nintendo that has sold 8 million.
Okay, think about it this way.
Hogwarts Legacy.
We're- That's Hogwarts.
Did
That's
it
Harry
actually?
Potter.
Harry Potter, it has that massive IP to carry itself.
I mean,
from the
just for a
non-gaming community.
multi-platform game, that's a big IP, that's a known quantity. I thought it'd sell more.
Resident Evil isn't as all-star of an IP as you would think. Like it's not
It's,
on the
it's the
level.
biggest survival horror. Don't get me wrong, but it's still
Yeah,
like gonna
no.
do those crazy for.
But
You have
but it's
Think
think about
this is
survival
all-star
horror.
really good.
IPs. Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, which 3 of those are Nintendo, which is funny to say. But like these are the all-star IPs we're talking about. Resident Evil is like probably a top-tier gaming IP, or at least a high-tier gaming IP. It is not like an all-star IP where like everyone knows it.
I just thought it'd sell more.
Survival horror is already kind of niche in a way to the general
Exactly, yeah.
gaming audience, especially when you compare to like Harry Potter, who you're going to get those like COD people who only buy like 1 or 2 games a year because they have that brand
They'll
IP
buy
of Harry Potter. Yeah.
Yeah.
But compare it to like maybe another big like
Spider-Man.
gaming only franchise, like not even Spider-Man because
gaming only?
yeah, gaming only franchise. Like Resident Evil's on the smaller end because of that. Yeah, people know it, but not a lot of people actually play it because a lot of people don't like that survival horror.
Exactly.
I still thought it'd be more.
Hey, you can think that. I
Like
don't
Wolf
know.
said, you have just been
Capcom is-
blinded by Switch numbers.
Yeah, because Switch sales numbers are so insane, but like that's unfair because that's the Switch. Moon mentioned this earlier, but FF16, we actually got some sales updates there. IGN, or not really sales updates, but almost like an update from Square's side of how they feel. IGN had the story. Square Enix response to Final Fantasy 16 sales concerns, points to PS5 install base. This comes from Wesley Yinpool over at IGN. Square Enix has insisted sales of Final Fantasy 16 are extremely strong, telling IGN the game has sold well relative to the PlayStation 5 install base. PS5 exclusive sold 3 million copies during launch week, a figure that sparked debate online about whether it had met Square Enix's sale target. I'll tell you guys right now, if Square Enix says the game sold well, then the game sold well.
3 million. Yeah, for a game that's only on PS5 that came out only a month ago, that's very, very strong.
Oh, so now 3 million
Yeah,
sounds
now
like
he-
Wait,
now
there's
he
the
knows the
difference of
story.
it
Now
being
the
only
victim.
on PS5 and not being on PS4, Xbox, or PC. There's a big difference.
okay, bench.
Now you use the
but-
logic brain.
Yeah, right. But no, I mean, those are overall good sales figures, and like Square Enix, that Mister, it has not hit our expectations. The strictest parents in the world, like even Square Enix, is like, oh no, this has actually sold really well for us. It's like that's really exciting to hear.
You know what it could also be? They sold all their Western studios. They have no one to blame now if their game does bad. So now they might just be saying that all their games do good.
So yeah, you know what? Yeah,
all of a
Rockstar
sudden,
Games
all
did
the
well.
games are good now.
It sells 20 copies. They're just like, yeah, it sold well.
Their expectations.
And speaking
yeah.
of selling well, since you did include on the docket here, there was that update from Sega that Sonic Frontiers has sold
No.
better than they expected. But also,
What's
they said
wrong
in
with
the,
Sega?
Mission.
What's
But-
wrong with
It's
Sega?
not
Okay, I
Sonic
want
either.
to. Okay, let me point this out. This motherfucker said, when is Sonic Frontiers going to go on sale? I want to play Sonic Frontiers, and now he wants to be a Sonic hater? No. I'm calling you out.
I've
Let's
always
be
been a
he
Sonic
he
hater.
asked for the sale directly after shooting on the game.
Oh wow,
This-
it's $30 right now. Maybe I'll cop that.
Yeah, not play
I'm
it.
just,
are you
I
looking
just
at
think,
Sonic sales right now?
I
This
just
bro's
think
looking at Sonic sales
Sonic
during
is
the
not
podcast.
good.
You've not played
Sonic is
one.
No, I played many Sonic games.
You have
Like what?
not. I don't believe
I
it.
played some of Mania. I played all of Forces. I played all
How
of
do you play
Generations.
some of
I
Mania?
played all the.
Play Forces.
I played all of Generations. I played all of Unleashed. There were 2 DS games I played.
Wait, hang on.
I played
Generation.
Sonic Heroes.
wait. I want to point this out. You beat Generations and said
I
Heroes
did.
franchise ain't nothing.
I don't like it.
That
This
is
is
that's
bad.
For a series you don't like, you played a lot of their games.
Yeah, really. I'm about to say.
You've been a
It's
lot of
just,
your
there
kids
were
are
things that were
closet
gifted
Sonic
to
fans.
me growing
You
up.
cannot
I play
prove
what
me
you play what you
I just
grow
say
growing up.
being a Sonic hater is kind of tacky nowadays. You know, that's so last year.
He's
I
a
mean-
classic Sonic fan. He played so many of
It's
the
so-
fucking game.
It's so 2022.
He's a Sonic fan, and yet he's over here saying he's not.
Forces suck so much.
Well, yeah,
I
Forces
like-
was
I had
bad.
my friend.
No,
Forces.
Shadow sucks.
I had my
forces.
I had my friend's mom like buy me the Forces copy, and I returned it the next day after I beat it. And I was very young at the time, and I thought it sucked. And so that sucked.
Everybody knows that Sonic Forces suck. Doesn't mean the
It
series is bad though.
sucks.
Sonic is bad.
Sonic is great,
Well,
and
Sonic
You got to
Plus
learn
guy's
to love
parents
it because, as well in that report that they said Sonic Frontiers exceeded their expectations, but also they said they're going to start looking at more remakes and remasters. So
Even-
yeah,
we'll get
I fully expect
more Sonic
Let's get
colors.
Sonic
Yeah.
Unleashed, baby.
They have
Sonic
no,
Unleashed without the nighttime stages.
I'm surprised Generations isn't available.
It is.
To be
It's
honest,
compatible.
Well, it's on
no-
backwards,
you know.
backwards
No, well,
compatible.
I mean, I'm
Oh,
just
yeah, I guess modern.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, that's weird. I played it on like PS3 recently.
I'll buy Frontiers whenever the new DLC comes out. How about that? And then
I
I'll
don't
play
even
it for
know
the
if that DLC will
podcast.
be worth it.
Well, I mean, they're fixing stuff. They're adding stuff. But when the game's finally complete a year after launch, I'll play it.
Finally, it was complete when it came. I'm
No,
not
yeah.
arguing. Let's just move on to the next topic. I'm
Apparently
not
Yo, is
done.
Final Fantasy 16 not complete? Is this they're adding DLC
No,
possibly?
no. Let's not talk about any of Sonic.
I know.
I'm
Apparently,
done.
they like added the spin dash and they're
Okay.
reworking the final island.
Yes, because those are added features, Bench.
Added features, reworking the final island. That seems like you're fixing
That's
mistakes.
adding features.
Yo,
You're
if
not fixing
16
a
gets
mistake.
DLC
What is that?
announcement, I'm gonna remember
What is
this
he
shit.
talking about? What is he talking about? I can't take it anymore.
People agree with me.
We're only on
Agrees
episode
with
10.
you.
Sonic haters agree with you. But you played more games than the Sonic haters. It makes no fucking sense.
The tacky ass Sonic haters. So 2022. Moving on to our next news story. Again, we can all shit on, thankfully. Overwatch 2 engagement and player investment is declining. Activision Blizzard admits. This comes from Taylor Lyles over on IGN. Overwatch 2's engagement and player investment is declining. The game's publisher, Activision Blizzard, admits. In its Q2 2023 earning reports, Activision Blizzard revealed its free-to-play shooter has declined sequentially this
Both
quarter.
favorite game.
Big word.
However, it thinks the game's next major update, Overwatch 2 Invasion, which releases next month, should help circumvent this issue. Yeah, my ass. While engagement and player investment in Overwatch 2 declines, they're going to use the word again, in the quarter, the Overwatch team is looking forward to the August 10th release of Overwatch 2 Invasion, the publisher wrote in its earnings report. I also didn't put this on the doc, but Overwatch 2 is also revealed to come to Steam.
I have something
What's
to
it called?
say about
August
that.
10th. Let me finish. We also had another news story. Ash Parrish over at The Verge. Activision Blizzard lays off its esports staff as it faces potential dramatic change for the Overwatch League. Amid the final days of the Activision Blizzard Microsoft deal, Activision Blizzard is laying off workers in its esports department while also preparing for potentially huge changes coming to the Overwatch League. Early today, Blizzard released its second quarter earnings report, within it which lies the potential fate of the Overwatch League. From the report, during the second quarter, we amended certain terms of our collaborative arrangements with team entities participating in the Overwatch League. According to the amended terms, following the conclusion of the current Overwatch League season, the teams will vote on an updated operating agreement. If the teams do not vote to continue under an updated operating agreement, a termination fee of $6 million will be payable to each participating team, total fee of approximately $114 million. So they are literally paying you to fuck off, which is freaking hilarious.
This is the best thing that they've ever done. They are paying you to stop playing Overwatch 2. Everybody in the Overwatch League needs to quit.
I'm in.
This is the best thing you're ever gonna get. Just stop playing.
I have something to say. I think
go ahead, Ben.
for Overwatch 2 coming to Steam, I think is the first sign of the end of BattleNet once the deal closes. We know the Bethesda launcher was sunset. I don't think BattleNet will be around in the foreseeable future once the deal closes.
Wait, was Bethesda not just completely taken away?
Yep.
I think
gone.
I don't know. I think BattleNet is big enough to where it'll stay, but I do think a lot of Activision Blizzard games will switch to Steam and Microsoft Store.
I think what honestly they should do, they won't, but they should just transform BattleNet into just a Microsoft launcher.
Oh yeah, that's not
Because
happening.
their launcher sucks. So just make the half decent good one, the Xbox one with the team you have there.
Well,
Simple.
the thing
Not
is
simple.
that transitioning is not going to be like an overnight thing. Like
I
you
know,
have
but
to add all the Xbox games onto that, and that's going to
I
be like a
know.
whole process.
But maybe it's worth
That's what
it
they should
because
do.
everyone craps on their PC launcher.
Oh yeah, for sure.
When the deal goes through, right, pull a Gundam Evolution and cancel the servers, right? Like, let the game die fully. Then give
Nah, that's not gonna
Overwatch
happen.
IP to a different studio and let them make a tactical turn-based Overwatch game, and it'll pop off. And
I'm
a
in.
Just
movie,
keep
a movie
making
too.
everything tactical turn-based.
And
Yes,
I
we
mean, to be
can.
honest, think about it. Overwatch characters work really well in a tactical turn-based setting. They really do. With how diverse they are.
I mean, yeah, I
And
guess, but like, I feel like you
Greenlight
could
a
say that about
fucking
most.
movie. The animation team, I don't think they get paid enough.
Oh yeah,
Let them make a movie and pay them well, please.
I think. I mean, just like we've talked a lot about Overwatch 2, and I hate talking about this game because it just makes me sad. It is just a complete fumbling on the end of Blizzard, just not treating this IP with the respect it deserves, because it is a golden IP. I always said that the IP is.
This is just a
definitely the
Blizzard
best.
staple, bro.
It's just unreal.
But they're doing the
that
same shit with
how bad
Diablo.
things are. Oh yeah, no, I didn't put it in the
Diablo
rundown.
4
I don't know
is a
how to talk about it, but-
fantastic game. And in their recent update, they're like losing player base. And like, have you seen the score in Metacritic? It is
Oh yeah,
drastically.
well, user score, but yeah, it's a big review bombing, and also just because of those recent patch notes, they have like come back and like they're saying like, oh, we're retracting some things, but like I feel like the damage is already done. It was such a severe.
Too late.
It
Because
was
they
like
were already in a
patch.
bad situation. Because they didn't have a post game.
I've followed patch notes for a good amount of games like Smash or Overwatch, and like there have been patch notes before where the community's like, "What the fuck are they thinking?" This is the first time, like, where Diablo 4 learning about the patch notes. I have never seen a community shift their opinion on a game so fucking quickly
Yeah.
just based on patch notes. It is unreal.
Yeah, I didn't notice. I wasn't paying attention, but yeah, I saw this massive shift in Diablo 4. But based on like what happened?
Pretty much what happened. The base game itself is fantastic, right? But there is no real post game, and that's what like a lot of Diablo players like. So we're stuck waiting for a new season, and people's like, okay, you know what? Game's good. We'll hold out to the new season. And then the patch notes are coming that are happening now, and they're just like ruining everything. People's builds, entire characters. They will, I think, what was it, like the Wizard Warlock class? I forgot what the fuck it was called. The Sorcerer class, I think. Yeah, the Sorcerer. That was the weakest class in the game, hands down, and it desperately needed a buff. They nerfed the shit out of it. They pulled an Overwatch Mercy.
I'll say this right now. That is a complete, like, that is something they did with Sojourn in a different manner, where Sojourn in Overwatch 2 for the first few months was so dominant, so absolutely fucking bullshit. Nobody liked playing against her, and they literally buffed her. They buffed her, and they're like, well, according to our data, your data is wrong. Look on Twitter for 5 seconds, and you'll realize nobody fucking likes her.
You remember when they added it so Roadhog can heal and move at the same time? They make Roadhog was broken at the time too.
Oh no, that the heal and move, that was back when he was terrible. I remember when that happened.
Hey, was it? It was something with Roadhog that they buffed on. It was like
Roadhog. It's just in Overwatch 2. He was kind of like buffed. You know, like all the tanks he was buffed, and they didn't like people realized just how overpowered Roadhog was, and they just haven't fixed him. But I also stopped keeping up with the game. I don't care about Overwatch anymore. I've just given up.
Blizzard can make a great they have the ability to make great games and fantastic IPs that people fall in love with, and then they shit the bed in the worst way possible directly afterwards. The porn community is carrying Overwatch, and I stand by this. They do more for them than the devs themselves.
They make a great base. The base is always so strong, but it always feels like they fumble when it comes to the building on top of that base. And it's happened. It happened with Diablo. I don't want to say it happened with Diablo 4. Like, I don't want to immediately like spell doom. Like, the game is dead. But like, it's happening. Like, it is currently Diablo 4 is not in the best position it could be as comparatively to launch. It happened with Overwatch 2 because I'm sorry, that game's dead. I don't give a shit about it.
And with WoW, the WoW bounced back.
WoW's been doing good. Like I know the last expansion was good, but also I've heard from like some friend of the podcast that he very much has been saying that WoW has not been on a good path as of late. So who knows?
Down as well.
Let's. I hope Blizzard could turn around. I hope the Xbox deal makes Blizzard turn around. That's kind of my hope. At the
Yeah.
moment.
Same.
That's all we can hope for now.
I guess that's pretty much everything news-wise, unless there was more articles that I missed. I realized I've been slacking today because the amount of times you
In
guys
the
said, "Oh,
podcast.
this wasn't in the doc. This wasn't in the doc." It's like, damn,
You're fine.
I've been failing, man.
Well, we should have
But
bring this
yeah.
up on your corporate review.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We can talk about trails for an hour now. Don't worry.
Now,
All right, banning trails.
Yeah, trails
talk.
time.
All right, all right. We're moving on to what we've been playing. Before the influx of trails talk begins, I'll start.
Breaking
I've
news.
been playing a lot of stuff. I guess I'll real quick kind of continue my thoughts on Captain Toad. I beat the game. It's good. Like that's kind of my viewpoint. It's not like this amazing 10 out of 10 experience. It's just good. Like
the way you were
feels
building it up, though, leading up to playing it, made it seem like it's a 10 out of 10 game.
I was just wanting something different. That's really it. And it fulfilled its purpose in that regard. But like just in general, like playing through Captain Toad, the game is slow. Like I was going for 100%, like I do with every single Mario game. Like I was going for the 100%, and eventually I got tired of because you basically have to replay each level 3 times. But it is so slow when it comes to restarting the level. Because what happens is you start the level, like you do the level the first time, takes you back to the main menu, unlocks a new level, and then it's like, okay, I want to go back in. And then you have to do an objective in the level, and then it boots you back to the thing. The objective of which you're not even revealed until you beat the level the first time, which is dumb. And then you have to do the Pixel Toad, where you have to see this dumbass Pixel Toad run across the screen every single time. And then you have to scour the level looking for a tiny little Pixel Toad. It's dumb. And eventually I'm like, I'm not doing 100% anymore. This is just not fun. But even then, like, I had a great time, like, just screwing around with the game. It was a good palate cleanser after FF16. That's kind of all I can say about it. It was a solid, like, 7.5 out of 10 game. But I've been playing a lot of shooters. I beat the Black Ops 1 campaign for the first time ever. And I gotta say, this is easily one of my favorite Call of Duty campaigns. I love the characters. I was fully invested in the story. I guess like little history on me. I love U.S. history, especially Cold War era. I am a huge nerd for that stuff. This game taking place right during the Cold War, pretty much at the peak of it. And I was fanboying over JFK. The voice actor they got for JFK was also really good. Like genuinely, that was an amazing impression of JFK. And I mean, just throughout the whole story, like I was fully invested in Mason's story, the whole numbers plotline. What do the numbers mean, Mason? All that, like all of that stuff was just 10 out of 10. I do think there was aspects of the campaign I wasn't the biggest fan of. I think you spend a lot more time than I'd prefer in Vietnam, which, hey, I mean, that could be commentary in and of itself, but we're not going to get into it. but there's a lot of missions that take place in Vietnam that I'd prefer. It's like, okay, I'm ready for a change of scenery. And also just there's like weird, like enemies, like placements in terms of the campaign that didn't work for me personally. That's like more specific stuff that I'd have to really like deep dive review on, which we're not going to do. I'll say that right now. But like just in general, all you need to know, this is easily one of my favorite COD campaigns, right up there with Modern Warfare 2. Loved it. And I've been playing a lot of the multiplayer for Black Ops 1, as well as Modern Warfare 2. And all I could say is the games are still phenomenal. Modern Warfare 2 is pure insanity. The game is completely unbalanced, and that's why I love it. And Black Ops 1 is much more balanced, much more fun, and it has the best maps probably in the entire series. And another shooter series I've been playing, and I've been playing with a co-host, Dark. We beat Gears of War 1, and we're actually currently playing through Gears of War 2 at the moment through the co-op campaign. And this is my first foray into the Gears series. Dark is a huge Gears of War fan. And overall, I'm having a great time with it. I think Gears of War 1 was a solid experience, like very much. It was a game we beat in one sitting in like 4.5 hours, which was just
Dude, that
pretty
was the
cool.
craziest thing to me.
Y'all
It
are
was-
acting like we're friends outside of this. I don't like that. We don't hang out outside
Yeah,
of
we're
the
just
podcast.
coworkers.
Co-workers.
He's right. Says you. But yeah, no, he's
This
just,
is
he's
the
just mad
awkward
that he
way to
wasn't
find out he's
invited
never
to this.
invited to anything.
Not our fault. You're on your third vacation of the fucking month.
It's not my fault.
But yeah, no, Gears of War 1 was great, and so far we're like I don't know, like halfway through Gears of War 2.
Gotta be
And we're-
halfway through Gears of War 2.
Okay, like about halfway. So yeah, I've been also having a great time with that. I guess Dark, how about your experiences with Gears of War and also this other game you've been playing, which I'm dreading.
So I haven't touched. I mean, I'm a big fan of Gears of War, but I haven't touched the classics, especially the campaign, in a really long time. So playing it through again has been amazing, and playing it co-op, man, is fucking hilarious.
Yep.
There
It
is
is a
so
fun
many
game.
things to make. It's a fun experience. It's very arcadey shooter. If you haven't played it before, highly recommend playing through it. And it's a good time. The games aren't long whatsoever. But
Yeah,
you guys
I mean, we
have a
beat
good
it in
time
one
with
sitting. So
Yeah,
I
I
will
think
say
it took us like what 4.5 hours.
one thing I will say before I move transition. I love the reload mechanic. I think the reload mechanic is such a cool idea. This idea of if you press reload at the right time, you get like a perfect reload, extra damage, and all that. Genuinely, such an interesting mechanic that I wish more shooters would do. Gamify.
Get an active reload. It's like a little mini game.
Yeah, that's what.
And it makes like a sound that's very satisfying. Oh man.
But you've also been
Uh,
playing another game. Dark?
Yeah, so as for my second game, I picked up Trails into Reverie, which dropped recently. I'm not gonna go deep into spoilers. This game did just drop in in North America for the first time. If putting it out there, if you never played the Trails games, you're not starting with this game, so don't worry. If you're into the Trails series, you already know like the gist of this. This game is for you, of course. It doesn't disappoint. I'm in the tail end of it now. I'm reaching that. It's not a long game whatsoever. It's borderline. Yeah, it's actually the shortest out of the Trail series. So for someone like me who beats games fast, I'm already near the tail. It's basically Cold Steel 5. It acts as an epilogue to the Crossbow crew, and you can play as damn near everyone in this from the entire series inside this, which is really fun. The Reverie component itself, there is a post game where you can play as everybody. There's mini games like a little hub area. It's a fun time. They're not retempt. They're doing something very similar to Sky 3, but just 100 times better.
Okay.
But besides that, nothing real negative to say. Oh, there is one thing I want to mention, but I mentioned it. In terms of trailers, I don't know why NAS did this. A lot of like the really hype moments were inside the trailers.
No,
Not sure why the fuck they did that. Because Trails itself is very much like a series of moments. Like things lead up to like a big moment, and then the big moment. So for them having those big moments in the trailer, and I mean like there are like 5 or 6 of them in the trailers, it's like, oh, what the fuck. Do go into this game blind if you can.
Okay, yeah, that's what I assume. Moon, what about you?
So I'm on the tail end of Rain Code. I'm on like the last little bit of chapter 4. I'm about to wrap up this case, and then this game only has 5 chapters, so I only have 1 more to go.
Nice.
But whether to find out this is either the longest chapter or the shortest chapter, because it could really go either way in these kind of games. Like the last chapter is either the longest or it's the shortest. Overall, like I've been saying, the mysteries have been really good. So I'm curious now, because like I said last time, each mystery so far of each chapter, you're using a different partner from this group of characters you met. So we're on the last of them now. So I'm guessing it has to be kind of like an end game kind of thing where you're going to use everybody. Everyone's all going to be here and solve whatever the last of the mystery is of chapter 5, which I will say so far doesn't seem like all of these stories so far have been pretty isolated. Like, yeah, they're all taking place coherently in a timeline, but they're all separate from the overall arcing story, and there hasn't been a whole lot of the overarching story so far. Chapter 4 has been giving us the most like information about what the overall arcing story is, so I'm curious to see where does this end, and then how does this take us into chapter 5, and what is the main objective and problem of chapter 5. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I should have it done by either this weekend or at least by the next podcast. I was hoping to have it done by this podcast episode, but anime happened, YouTube happened, work happened. So
Happens to
I
us
should,
all.
but I should have it hopefully done pretty soon. then I guess God told me I needed to play Symphony of the Night because
your thoughts on this determines our friendship. I want you to know that right now.
because what happened was somehow Symphony of the Night came up in conversation. Granted it's Wolf, so Castlevania just comes up every so often. But then it went on sale for like $3.29 on the Xbox Live Arcade, like the 360 backwards compatible version. And then I immediately got a message on my Xbox saying, "Hey, you have enough points for a $3 gift card." I'm like, okay, clearly someone up above is telling me to play Symphony of the Night because I got it for 29 cents. So I started that. According to Wolf, I got pretty far. Like I got most of the castle.
I more so meant you're farther than I expected you to get.
Yeah, exactly. It took a little getting used to like the controls in there because it doesn't tell you jack shit about what to do or where to go or anything.
That's what I like, baby. Press all the buttons, figure it out.
But I figured most stuff out, and as on my like third play session of it, I finally figured out the map. Finally found out how the map works. So now I have and I bought the map from the not magician, but the librarian guy. So now I have a full map to work with, which is definitely motivates me a little bit better instead of just blindly wandering around. It's interesting. Combat is obviously my biggest gripe so far. There's no directional, so I can't attack upward. I can't attack at an angle. So I'm.
No, you can.
It's very situational, and I'm waiting to get some magic. I need a projectile of some kind.
So the magic you get from like the librarian. I don't know if you met him yet.
I bought the map from him.
Oh,
I don't think I had enough money to buy any magic though. I just bought the map and something else.
I can tell you right now, you can use the spells right now. He just tells you how to use them, but you could like look them up and then just use them if you want.
I might have to do that, but it's interesting so far. I'm getting into the music. I'm getting just into that Metroidvania kind of wandering around groove. So we'll see how it goes. I'll probably clean that up on the side where I finish Raincoat and then whatever my next game is. I think I'm going to try to clean up Octopath Traveler 2 after that. But I'll still play Symphony of the Night on the side. And then what Wolf wants me to talk about.
Here we go. I'm excited.
Is Pokemon Sleep that came out in the US the other day. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's one of those mobile games that just throws a lot of shit at you at the beginning because it's built like a gacha game almost. But instead of money that you give it, you have to give it your sleeping hours. But the first thing right off the back I want to say about this that I'm surprised I haven't heard more about, maybe I'm just not paying attention to that part of Twitter, but how this game works and tracks your sleep is you leave the app open on your phone and it goes into like a dark mode so it doesn't like burn your screen or waste your battery. I think it basically tells you, say, hey, plug your phone in, leave it open on the app, place your phone down on your mattress, and let it just sit there all night on the app. And it requires you to have the microphone on, so it's listening to you sleep.
That is so creepy.
I said, I'm surprised there's not been like some kind of like privacy uproar about this. That's what I'm surprised about.
I think people just accept that as like,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't know how it exactly measures your sleep. I don't know. There was like some joke article like I saw a bit ago. It's like it listens to you fart in your sleep and it makes note of it. I'm guessing, I don't know if it tracks like snoring, whatever. I'm not much of a snorer. I only very rarely do. So if it's tracking it by that, it's not getting a lot of information out of me. I've only slept with it 2 days now. The first one, it said, oh yeah, you got some nice heavy deep sleep. And I'm like, okay. But then this last night, I got up in the morning, looked at it, and it said, oh, you didn't get much sleep last night, did you? It was very light sleep. You only got 4 hours. Like, no, I got about 7 hours of sleep. I don't know what you're talking about. So it's probably because I'm not doing exactly as it wants it to, because it's not sitting on my bed and it's not plugged in the way it wants it to. It's what I have next to my bed is I installed a shelf, and my charger is like one of those little stand chargers. So I just kind of sit it on there in its charger like normal with the microphone listening. So I'm guessing it's probably not going to give you the most accurate results. And I'm curious if I were to set it up the way it's supposed to be, I might get different results. But I'm also afraid I'm a roller in my sleep, so it's going to be sitting on my bed and I'm going to find it on the floor in the middle of the night.
No, I can never do that because I am a huge roller. So it's just like, I'm never going to touch this then.
But then coming down to the gameplay, when you wake up, Pokemon have been attracted to your Snorlax because you're taking care of a Snorlax is what you're doing. And all these Pokemon come to sleep with the Snorlax, and then sleeping gives you points that turns into cookies and treats that you're supposed to feed these Pokemon. I'm still trying to figure all that out, but that's what I've just been collecting right now. I've got some Pichus, I've got some other random Pokemon. I need to look at the Pokedex. But yeah, you're just trying to. The whole loop seems to be collect stuff in your sleep, get berries and cookies and whatnot, give them to the Pokemon that you attract, fill out the Pokedex, and hope you get like a rare Pokemon or something in your sleep. Because it seems to be all RNG. And I don't know if it's based on how good you sleep, if the Pokemon are better or not, because I got some good Pokemon during my deep sleep from 2 nights ago. I got some bad light sleep last night, and all I got were 3 Pichus. So, I don't know, maybe it is based on how well you sleep.
I mean, hey, if you like Pichu, there you go. You got 3 of them.
Yeah, so yeah, that's like the first 2 days of Pokemon sleep. I guess Wolf will want me to continue this until next week.
Definitely continuing this.
And yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Bench, wake up. You get to talk about Trails.
Here.
Since
I've been gone, I've beaten 2 games. I beat Ghost Trick, which was phenomenal. All the characters, like the foreshadowing, everything in Ghost Trick was great. I highly recommend it. And I beat Pikmin 1. Yes?
I want to ask you about Ghost Trick. So is it like a puzzle game? Like, how does it work exactly? Because that's one on my list.
It's a puzzle game made by the Ace Attorney dude.
Dude? You mean Messiah? That's my goat.
Yeah, it was very good, and it's a short experience. I think it took me a little over 10 hours to beat, and
nice.
it was great. I mean, can't get any better than that for what the game was. And the twist
story-wise.
Oh yeah, story-wise, the end was pretty crazy. And it's separated into like 18 chapters, which makes the pace feel like it's constantly moving because you're going somewhere new at each chapter, doing something.
Is it kind of like how Moon talks about Raincode and how it's like he doesn't look forward to the gameplay parts? Is that the case, or is it like
no? The gameplay is amazing.
Oh, okay, cool.
The gameplay, I'd say, is one of the main carries of the game. The story and gameplay work in harmony pretty much. It's great.
Yeah, I played the demo. Basically, how it works is you're haunting stuff, and it's a puzzle. Like you got to figure out like this affects this affects this. Like the ball, it hits the ball rolls this way. That kind of stuff.
Yeah,
you got to figure out the puzzle from there.
And then I beat Pikmin 1, which was a good time. Definitely had some flaws, but overall I had a fun time with it.
It's aged a lot, right?
It has. And then I started The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 3 Wednesday night.
We're gonna have to hear about this a lot.
And it has been. I'm 7 hours in, and I started it. A little background on my Trails experience. Dark, unfortunately, convinced me to get in back in like late December, so I've been playing since then. I've been playing since late December, and took like a 3-month break because just all the new releases were coming out. And I'm back on that now. I'm planning to play 3 and 4 back to back over the next month or so until Starfield comes out. And with 7 hours into 3, I'm just loving it. The improved engine, the improved battle system, great seeing the characters return, and they're all great as usual in the story. I'm engaged in it. Just can't get any better than this. The Trail series is like one of the best game series out there, and it's unfortunate how niche it is. And while it's a massive commitment, I can't recommend it enough to people.
That's great to hear. I mean, I played Trails in the Sky 1. I really loved it. Maybe one day I'll go back to that series.
Look forward to hearing more every week. Because I'll be on it for a while.
The weekly Trails update.
God bless America. I will say real quick, Pikmin 4 came out today. I was very busy, so I did not have the chance to put it in yet. One mod I played in the demo is amazing, so I expect the full game to be just as good. But sadly, I have not been playing Pikmin 4. Really, I'm a fraud. That's all there is.
You are.
But yeah, that's pretty much everything that we've been playing. Moon, I'm going to hand it right back to you for outro.
Well, I see Dark is playing Gundam Evolution before it dies, so enjoy that while it lasts.
Looking at the skins, don't mind me.
So hope you all enjoyed this monumental episode 10. We reached episode 10. I forgot to say that at the top of the podcast, but we reached episode 10. We haven't strangled each other yet. Very
Yay.
close though. We've come
Yeah.
very close.
Bench is like one more. fucking
Bench is
vacation and
really
he's dead.
pushing it for me.
So hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to follow us. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell anyone who will listen to a Slice of Gaming podcast. And like I said, we got some more content coming out pretty soon. Can't promise this week, but maybe something might come out this week. But it will be in the near future. So you have more to listen to all of us because you know that's what you want. That's why you're tuning in. I hope you all have a good one. Have a good night.
So,
Night,
guys.
y'all.